Hey everybody, Southern Tier Prepper here. We're going to give it a couple minutes for people to join. Um, have some good big news that we've been waiting for, and I wanted to share it with everyone. Um, so we'll give it a few. Somebody's here. Let me know if you're here and if you can hear me, so that I know we can get started. It feels weird doing this again after so long. It's been what, well over a month. I know it's a weird time of day to starting, but hopefully some people are on their lunch breaks. Okay, we're 1 minute in. If nobody pops in, I totally get it, and I'll just continue on, and that way, hopefully, people can catch it on the replay. It could also be that because I've been inactive for so long, the notifications might not be getting pushed out as well. So it shows that I've got two people here. You want to let me know if you can hear me? Is anybody there? Let's see here. Okay. Oh, volume's low. Let me see if I can pull that up. Is that any better? I don't have my mic on me. It's still packed away. So, 5x5, awesome. I don't recognize you two. Are you new? If you're interested in homesteading and preparedness, please, by all means, subscribe if you're so inclined. Okay, I unplugged it, so that might have helped unblock the mic a little bit, and I'll try to speak up. Um, hey, local prepper, how are you? Sorry, I've been MIA, but you'll hear why in just a minute. Hey, Kill It and Grill It. I love the name from Nebraska. So anyway, so I'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully some of the regulars can catch it on the replay. Um, I've been in kind of a real big funk for the last couple of weeks. Actually, like more like 6 weeks. For those that you don't know, our home was destroyed by a runaway manure spreader from a neighboring farm back in April. And since then, we've been arguing with our insurance company and the farmer's insurance company, and our kids have been living in a camper out back by our barn, and my husband and I have been living in a one-room cabin that he built next to the camper. So it's been like this really long, drawn-out process. We had to get an attorney involved, and we've been waiting on money, and all kinds of crap has gone wrong. And thrown into the middle of it, I had major spinal surgery August 15th, so I was recovering without modern conveniences and without indoor plumbing. So, what's happened the last over the past week is that, sorry about the volume. I don't have my mic, it's packed away. I'll try to speak up a little louder. I hope that helps. Um, so, what's happened over the last week is that we finally got our contents claim squared away with our insurance company. We had previously maxed out our structural policy limit, and we were waiting on the contents claim because it's going to be quite a while before we see anything from the farmers insurance company. So we know we have to get a roof over our heads before the snow flies, which is very soon. We actually had a couple of flakes Wednesday night. Um, so we knew whatever we got from our insurance company is what we had to work with to get a home up on our property as soon as possible. Um, so with that, we knew because of our budget and because we want to stay where we're at. I mean, we love our land and it's paid for free and clear. We knew we were going to have to go with either a manufactured home or a modular home. And we had been we looked at another home that we really liked and we thought would be within our budget. But unfortunately, that home got sold out from under us. Somebody came through with financing, which we do not want to do. Um, you know, like I said, we own our property free and clear, and this wasn't our fault. So there's no reason we should have to go into debt and have hits on our credit report and all that stuff for something that we didn't do. Um, so in the meantime, you know, we looked at another place that we really liked. We thought things were, you know, they weren't doing work for us, Kill It and Grill It. It's a neighboring farm, and they were refueling or refilling a manure spreader, and it rolled down the hill and crashed through our house. If you look back at some of my old videos, I have footage of the damage, and it kind of explains more in detail what happened. Um, ETC, I have never shot a dog before, so um, it wasn't me. I don't know where you live, but I've never shot a dog. So um, if you live in Broome County, New York, or if you live in Pennsylvania, or if you live in Hawaii, I might be familiar. But um, so anyway, we looked at another house that we really liked, but we couldn't really make an offer because we didn't know what our contents claim was. We were still waiting for the adjuster to get back to us on that. And then there was a period of unresponsible. Uh, yeah, Arlo, I like I said, I don't recognize you. I appreciate you popping in. If you look back at some of my previous videos, after, especially going back to April, you'll see, you know, video of the damage and an explanation of what happened. But anyway, so long story short, we thought that house was sold out from under us because there was, you know, long period of non-communication with the sellers, and I thought that we lost that one too. Again, on account of waiting for our insurance company to let us know, you know, how much we were going to be dealing with. And in the meantime, I got quotes from, you know, different places on, you know, how much it would cost to move it, set it up, concrete pads, stuff like that. So we knew what we would need to have to be able to offer um, different things. And over the last couple days, we actually did hear back from the other sellers, and it turns out they had a family emergency. That's why we hadn't heard from them. And we were able to make a deal. So we are going to have a home again. We are going to be, you know, starting demo on our old house this last week. Our attorney did have an appraiser come out this week. Finally, he was waiting and waiting and waiting for another company that never showed up. But so we finally got some appraisers out here because one of the main issues with the farmers insurance company is that they seem to think that our house could be repaired, and there's no way. So we already have two experts saying that no, it needs to be replaced. And so this way we had a third independent, you know, report. And we don't have their report yet, but even if they say it can be repaired, the estimate that the farmers insurance company gave us isn't realistic. Plus, they were trying to take depreciation, which them being at fault, they don't get to do. I mean, they would need to pay the full price of cost of the full cost of repairing it even then. So we know we will have more money coming down the line from the farmers insurance company. And of course, our insurance company is going to recoup what they paid out to us from them, being that they're at fault. But we don't know what our additional is going to be. So the money that we got from our insurance policy is going to be just enough to do what we need to do as far as demo and the pad and the moving and the construction and the purchase of the house. So we're gonna have to wait till we start seeing something from the farmers insurance company once once we get this report from the independent assessor. So Kill It and Grill It, yeah. We had an alternative living clause on our insurance policy that gave us some money up front to live on, and that's what we used to, you know, get the camper operational and build our shed. And we were also in a motel for a couple weeks. But the reason we have to go through our insurance first is because things were taking so long with the farmers insurance company that we had to have money coming in quickly, and it was quicker to go through our insurance company than it was to deal with theirs, especially considering that they were so unresponsive. Hey, Celtic Grandma, how are you? It's good to see you. Um, if you missed it, we got a house and I'm talking about, how we got here. So anyway, um, the the current owners of the home hope to be out by November 15th. They built a home on the same property, and they've been slowly moving things, but they're hoping to be out by November 15th. So I'm hoping that we can schedule the movers for right after that. But my husband's schedule has really filled up. He was planning on doing the pad himself with another GC friend of his, but now with his work schedule, I don't see that happening. So I do need to get some quotes. The quotes that we've gotten so far would literally leave us no wiggle room, like to build porches or anything. So, um, we're hoping to find somebody with that. I got to make some more phone calls later today, and I doubt we'll be moved in enough by Thanksgiving to be able to have like a Thanksgiving dinner at our house like I wanted to, but this will be like the best Christmas ever. I cannot wait to finally be under the same roof as my kids. That's been so hard. And I cannot wait till, we have our big family dinners, and we have our homeschool corner, and I set up my YouTube studio so I can make some more consistent content. I have been really, really depressed over the last 6 weeks. Between my recovery from my back surgery being harder than I ever imagined, and more painful than I ever imagined, and like the other house getting sold out from under us, and not knowing what's going on with the insurance money and things like that, and we still don't know a lot of things. We still don't know what we're going to be dealing with, but we know there will be extra coming. Even if there wasn't, we can replace stuff slowly over time. But this way, at least we know there'll be a beautiful roof over our heads without having to go back into debt. We paid off our property and our old house within 9 years, and the idea was to be debt free and not have to worry about a mortgage into our retirement. My husband's approaching 50, which isn't that old, but we want to kind of be able to let him semi-retire. We want to be able to focus on homesteading and riding the motorcycles and things like that, and enjoying the time with our children. And now, like, we're back on track for that. And hey, CUCV farmer, how are you? If you missed it, CUCV, we found a house, and we're hoping to be in by late November. So now the search is on for a reasonable concrete contractor. I really wish that KP Heathen was up this way because I know he would have me fixed up in no time, but it's a little bit of a hook from Louisiana. So, I mean, that's all I've got. I really have checked out of watching, all my friends' channels pretty much, and all the live streams that I'm usually at religiously. I haven't felt it, and a lot of it is because I was so depressed and I saw no light at the end of the tunnel. I saw no point in when I was going to be able to start making content again. For a long time, it was just the pain, and I wanted to be active, and I was active, and now that the pain's getting better, I was losing hope of um, having a home before winter. But now that's all looking up. The pain's doing a lot better. I'm off most of the meds except like the normal maintenance muscle relaxers and stuff. I still can't drive very long or be in the car very long without needing pain meds, and I still can't walk very far before my back starts acting up really bad. But puttering around the cabin and checking things out in the barn and things like that, and driving my daughter to work, I'm pretty cool with. So, um, I feel like I'm over that hump. I'm still, hey, local preppers, see you later. Um, check you later. Hey, TVB, how you doing? Um, yeah, kill it and grill it. Last year I had 2 cervical disc replacements in my neck, and the recovery from that wasn't bad. So I thought I would be fine with this, but this lumbar fusion and shim that they put in, it was hell. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was horrible. Um, so yeah, so things are looking up. I'm looking forward to bringing everybody along on the whole journey of setting up the house. I'll try to get some footage of when they start demoing the house. And I gotta say, like, through all of this, honestly, like, a lot of people want to trash and badmouth the farmer, whose tractor hit us. He's been really great through all of this, and I don't really have too many complaints about him. It was one of his employees. They say the parking brake failed, but I have questions about the whole situation, about where the placement was and stuff. But it wasn't him personally. And I know accidents happen, and he's been really wonderful through everything. He's going to lend us one of his excavators so that we can tear down the old house. He's going to bring in gravel from our gravel mine to help cut the cost of the pad. Um, he's willing to help us hopefully with some labor, and he will be putting up some concrete barriers between that field and our home now. So, sell you for scrap iron. That's what my husband said, kill it and grill it. He's a scrapper, and he's like, so if you go first, does that mean I can have you cremated and scrap the parts? And I told him to go for it if he wants to sift through my bones. He's a stronger man than I am. So, but anyway, he has been really wonderful through this. It's not him personally. And, I've had people tell me, well, he should have just written you a check for a new house. And, well, no, I mean, as business owners, we know that's why we have insurance. That's why we have business insurance for when something like this happens. And regardless of how big his farm is, farming's tough work. And if he's actually making a profit, I mean, good for him, but it can't be much. So this is why we have insurance. This is also why insurance rates are so high, is because employees make dumb mistakes when the owner's, not there. So I have no animosity towards him. He's been great. He's putting in place precautions, and he's really trying to help us out where he can. So, and that's what community does. We don't want to be bad neighbors. I mean, I've had people saying, "Oh, you should sue the hell out of him." No, I mean, all we want is to replace what was lost and to have a decent home back over our heads. And, I really feel like, suing somebody just because you can and not because you need it, I just feel like that's, bad karma. And, as long as me and my husband and our kids get taken care of, that's all that's important. So, So yeah, so does anybody have any questions? Even if you came in late and you think you might have missed something, go ahead and ask it. I'm happy to repeat myself. I mean, anybody who knows me knows I repeat myself a lot. So, um, any questions, just shoot them. I hope YouTube doesn't flag me for saying that. Um, um, but yeah, I apologize for my absence on, a lot of the other channels that I mod for and that, I'm usually on the live streams and stuff. I just haven't had it in me. But yeah, TVB, he really is trying to do the right thing. And it's his insurance company that's a pain in the ass. And for a long time, we found out it was actually our attorney that was holding things up because he was so busy on cases that were much bigger than ours. But, he apologized profusely and he's making it right too. So, you know, so if anybody wants to come up and pour some concrete, let us know. But but yeah, I'm just so relieved. Hey Tuck, how are you? Um, I was just telling everybody we have a house. Hope to be in by the middle to end of November. So yeah, AR, it's the damage was actually really crazy, and I hope you'll consider subscribing. I was over 1,000 subs at one point, but YouTube decided that they know better than people do and unsubscribed most people. So, how you making out with the hurricanes, Tuck? I really haven't been able to keep updated on anyone or anything, just because I've been in such a funk. So, yeah. And I think it'd be a hell of a drive for you from Florida to New York, Tuck. I know my back couldn't handle it. I can imagine yours. Um, thanks, Kill It and Grill It. I appreciate it so much. And hopefully you get something out of the channel. Um, my I was just getting into making like prepping and homesteading content when the accident happened. And it's been crazy. Oh no, CCV, that's awful. Well, I hope you're on the mend. That sucks. Oh, good, Tuck. I'm glad to hear it. Um, I, Bushcrafter, I think part of it. Hey, Susan, how are you? I hope you're recovering well too. It seems like everybody's had stuff going on. So part of the reason they unsubscribe people is when they get a bunch of new subscribers at once, they think it's bots, apparently. Um, my thing is that when I got my influx of subscribers, it was when Pinball Preparedness mentioned me as one of the 12 small channels to watch and subscribe to. And so I had like this huge influx of like over 600 people overnight. And then like 3 days later, they started taking them off. So I've been holding steady around 860 some, 870 some. But I've noticed like that I haven't put out anything in a while, and they've been starting to tick them down again. So hopefully, putting out some content again will help at least hold them steady. Um, so yeah, AR that's you're not kidding. I have a friend in our mag that actually went down there to try to help, and the stuff that he told us was just heartbreaking about stuff not getting to where it needs to go. And you know, he went down there, going to help somebody out, and it turns out that that was under false pretenses. So he found other local groups to, try to help out, but it wasn't there needs to be more organization, and that what Pinball and Patera have been doing is amazing, and I commend them so much for doing it because it's no small feat. But people who do want to go down to help, they're being given the runaround, and that's absolutely fact. I know some places are trying to debunk that, and it's the absolute truth. um, yeah, CCB, I remember about that accident. I hope you're not suffering any ill effects from that, because well, I'm glad you made out good with your insurance company. I've always made out good with auto insurance companies, because that's pretty much cut and dried. But this, with the situation that it was, and dealing with two insurance companies and New York State bureaucracy and having to throw a lawyer in amongst it all, it was just hell. Um, yeah. So sorry, I'm just trying to read this. Yeah, and they do try to make it hard. Arlo, they he did actually end up hooking up with a local church. Um, but even then it was hard to find one that wasn't told to stop, and that basically was just defying the stop orders, and he just kept going, and they just kept going, and he was able to help out some before he had to get back, so that's good. Glad you didn't get hurt in the auto accident, CUCV. That's awesome. Um so other things going on. Besides that, there's two things I wanted to mention today, about the. Sorry, there's a gnat flying around in here. Um, so Mr. STP had been scheduled for several months, for a certain kind of stress test where he doesn't go on the treadmill, where they inject some kind of medicine, and then 45 minutes later do some imaging, and then they inject some more medicine, and then 45 minutes later do some imaging. Well, that was set up for next week, and that has been like set up for months. Well, it turns out they called us earlier in the week and said that they were running into supply chain shortages with the medication that was needed to do that type of test, and um, that if he wanted it done, it had to be done this week, and they only had a couple of appointments left. And so, because after Monday, there's no guarantee of when, if ever, they'll get that medication in. That there's a major supply chain shortage and everything's up in the air. And if you don't get it, first come, first serve, then you don't get it. So we got him right in. He had it done Wednesday afternoon, and he was the last dose of that medication that, hey, Heavens Fire, how are you? Real quick, we got a house. So when this is done, go back and watch the beginning, and you'll get all filled in. Um, so anyway, so he was able to get his um, medication induced stress test, but he was the last one, and they don't know when they're going to get that back in. So that's an issue. And then my stepdad has to have it's not a life threat, it's not like a life saving cardiac procedure right now, but I mean, it's causing him discomfort, and it's like wearing down his heart, but it's not like acute, it's not urgent. And so they canceled his procedure because of the IV bag shortage. And I was watching Poplar Preparedness this morning, and I knew about like the largest IV bag manufacturer in the country getting wiped out because of the hurricane. But it was actually, I forget if it was two or three of their locations that got wiped out. Um, so me in rural Broome County, New York, I've already had two family members affected by the medical supply chain shortages. Um, so that's really concerning. I mean, the shortages that we've heard of so far um, haven't affected us too much. I did have to wait a week for some medication at one point because it was on back order, but that was at CVS. And when I switched it to my normal pharmacy, who had been half the month before, and that's why we actually used CVS for that time. But then once we switched everything back to our normal pharmacy, they actually told us that because they're a hospital pharmacy, um, that they get priority over like the retail chains. So that might be thanks to UCB, it was two locations shut down. So that might be something to think about. Like if you have your choice of pharmacy that your insurance covers, and one of them is part of the hospital system versus like a chain retail pharmacy, you might have better luck with the hospital chain because, apparently they get some sort of priority because they're affiliated with the hospital and they can pull from the hospital stock or vice versa. So, consider that. Um, I really feel like things are really taking a downturn. The little bit that I have tuned in, um, I don't want to say it scares the hell out of me because once we have a roof over our head, we're prepared. I mean, so the only things that I absolutely must replace that were destroyed are my canning equipment, including my outdoor canning stove, my pressure canner, and my canning jars. Um, Everything else, um, we were pretty well prepped, so the preps aren't that far gone. I mean, we still have our freezers, we still have our canned goods, we still have, XYZ. We're good there. It was the equipment and the processing stuff that really, you know, hurt us, and all my gardening stuff. But that stuff can be replaced fairly quickly and reasonably inexpensively. It's not like I'm gonna need, 10 grand to replace that stuff. So, um, the roof is the main thing, and then we can get our stuff moved in before it freezes too bad. So, um, if anybody has anything you want to know, shoot me an email, southerntierprepper@gmail.com. Um, just I'm so glad that this is like on the uptick before all hell breaks loose. We won't be in our new home before election day, or I should say selection day, but everything should be in place and set by then so that, all that has to be done is like physical work and the actual moving. There shouldn't be any reason for any of that stuff to affect what we have to have done. Um, so if anybody has any questions, shoot them to me now or send me an email later and I'll address them in another video or in a Facebook post. If you're new here, I do have a much, bigger Facebook page than I do a YouTube following, and that gets updated pretty much every day. So, so I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be on the upswing. I'm still not like 100% myself, obviously. I still have a lot of anxiety about getting the process done, especially since Mr. SPP's schedule is so full now. Um, but I know there's ways around it, and yeah, thanks, Susan. And I didn't get to read your whole message about your surgery, but it looked like it was good news, right? Let's see here. Yeah, but it sounds like it went good, right? They were able to get everything out that they needed to. And, even at 46, I'm not bouncing back like I used to. And with my autoimmune conditions, I really don't bounce back like most people would. But I feel for you, and I know you got this. You're a strong woman, so I know you got this. So, um, So I guess that's about it. I want to keep this short. The kids are at a friend's house after homeschool co-op today, and I've good, Susan. I'm so happy to hear that. You were in my prayers, and you still are for your recovery. Major surgery sucks, and if anybody knows that, it's me. Um, so I gotta go. I did leave the cabin doors open, and I just saw a chicken coming out of it. So who knows how many chickens have been in my cabin and for how long. Um, let's see, burn bandages for your first aid kit. Yes, definitely CUCV Farmer, and Silvadene ointment for burns is like the most amazing stuff. It's made with colloidal silver, or if you can even get some colloidal silver in a spray bottle, that really helps with burns too. Um, so I'm really hoping to be a little more consistent on the live streams now, and hopefully I'll have some more content soon, and I'll see you guys in some live streams. So that's all for today, and it's good to be back. And don't forget to do your research and prep on.